Good morning, Janusz Sielicki, International Association for Falconry and Conservation of Birds of Prey. In daily life, I'm also doing market research, so I will present results of the survey EAF did for Raptor's MOU on Saker and Electrocution. The survey on Saker, Falconers and Electrocution was conducted in September 2025, following the similar survey conducted 10 years earlier. There are 78 Saker range countries, 26 are breeding range, the rest, 42 countries, are migrating or vagrant, especially in Europe and Africa. Falconers from 48 countries took part in the survey. Falconry is not practiced or not legal in most of the other 30 countries. Survey 10 years ago covered 23 countries. 42% of responses are from Europe, 31% from Asia, and 26% from Africa. 55% of responses are from countries where Saker is wintering, and 45% from breeding range countries. Most of the respondents are 31 to 50 years old, 54%. In Africa, there are significantly younger respondents. 1/3 are aged 21 to 30%. In Asia, there are more respondents aged 21 to 40 years old, 1/3. While in Europe, there are significantly more older people, 18% aged 61 to 70 years. 2/3 of respondents have knowledge of Saker populations in other countries than their own. We combined countries where respondents live and those where they have knowledge on Saker population. The combined coverage represents almost all countries of the range, 77, except Mali. In the survey 10 years ago, combined coverage was 38 countries. Half of the respondents, 49%, think that Saker populations are in decline, 1 in 7 believe they are stable, only 1 in 9 think they are increasing. Quarter of respondents do not have opinion or think it's difficult to say. In the survey 10 years ago, also half of the respondents did think that populations are in decline. Decrease of Saker population is more often recognized in Africa and in wintering range. Stable and increasing populations are more often declared in breeding range countries. Electrocution is a serious issue for falconers, as 1/3 of them have lost at least one falcon to electrocution. A quarter of falconers, 23%, lost one bird that way, and 1/9 lost few birds. 2 in 5, 42% of European, and 1/3, 33% of Asian falconers has lost at least one bird to electrocution. Only in Africa, the issue seems less significant. Only 1 in 6 had such experience. 2/3 of those who lost some falcons due to electrocution lost only one bird. 1 in 9 lost 2 birds, 1 in 11, 3 falcons. The highest number recorded is 14 birds. Respondents declare loss of trained falcons due to electrocution in 27 countries. More than half of respondents, 56%, has seen electrocuted wild falcons. 1/3, even few times. 3 in 5 falconers in Asia and Europe have seen electrocution of falcons. Almost half of respondents from Africa, 45%, have witnessed that. More respondents from breeding range countries witnessed electrocution of wild falcons, almost 3 in 5, 57%, while in wintering area a bit less than half, 49%. Respondents declared that witnessed electrocuted wild or trained falcons in 46 countries of the Saker range. Lack of declaration for other countries does not mean there are no dangerous lines there. I proposed in 2014 to include financial institutions in preventing electrocution at the workshop with Mongolian government and electrocution companies. EAF proposed the IUCN resolution preventing electrocution and collision impact of power infrastructure on birds, adopted at the World Conservation Congress in Hawaii in 2016. In 2017, we started with EBRD to work towards some simple guidance for non-specialists. In 2018, EAF simple guidelines for the preventing of electrocution was ready. Based on this document, International Finance Corporation, IFC, the World Bank institution, started internal process towards tip sheet, and finally in 2026 it was published. More than half of the respondents declared that they did not have any wild Saker in the last 5 years. A quarter declared to possess 2 to 5 wild Sakers, and 1 in 6 declared to have only one. 10 years ago, a significantly lower number of people declared not to use wild Sakers, but at that time, survey did not cover Europe. And here we can see the difference. In Europe, almost 90% of people declares not to use any wild Sakers, and that also includes Russia and Turkey. In Africa, only 16% do not use wild Sakers, while in Asia, 41%.
Going to other wild falcons, 43% of respondents declare not to use any, 18% declare to use one, 26% declare to use 2 to 5 birds in the last 5 years. And again, similarly, the least used wild falcons are in Europe. 71% of respondents declare not to use any, and the highest number is in Africa. Only 16% declare not to use any other wild falcons. Almost half of the respondents, 47%, declare to use captive-bred Saker Falcons. They are most widely used in Europe, where 57% of respondents declare to use birds from captive breeding. If we go to other hybrid birds, hybrid falcons, 66% of respondents declare not to use hybrids. And here we can see that they are least used in Asia, where 83% declare not to use hybrids, then in Africa, where 71% declare not to use hybrids, and they are most popular in Europe, where 48% of respondents had some hybrid falcons in the last 5 years. Almost 2/3 of respondents declare to have at least one captive-bred other falcon, not Saker and not hybrid, in the last 5 years. 1/3 declare to possess 2 to 5 captive-bred other falcons, and 1 in 6 declare to have one falcon in that period. 2 in 5 respondents are falconers for more than 20 years. 1/3 for 11 to 20 years, and 1/6 6 to 10 years. In the survey 10 years ago, there was significantly higher number of younger falconers. Half of falconers from Europe, 47%, are falconers for more than 20 years. The youngest are respondents from Africa. 1/5 are falconers for 1 to 5 years, and only 1/4, 28%, for more than 20 years. A quarter of falconers take all their falcons to falconry hospitals or vets. Another 3% take some of their birds. Half only when they are sick, 49%, and a quarter never does so. In the survey 10 years ago, number of those who never take birds to vets was significantly higher, more than half, 53%. 1/3 of falconers from Europe, 34%, take all birds to vets, while in Africa only 6%. 2/5 of falconers in Africa, 43%, never take birds to vets, with 1/3 doing so in Asia, 33%. 2/3 of respondents did not trap falcons by themselves. 1 in 6, 16%, trapped all their birds, and 1 in 5 some of their birds. In the survey 10 years ago, less than half, 44%, declared not to trap falcons. Almost in all European falconers, 91% do not trap falcons themselves. In Africa, 3/4 trapped all their birds, 38%, or some of them, 34%. In Asia, 1/3 trapped some of the falcons, and 1 in 5 trapped all their falcons. Much more falconers trap all their falcons in wintering areas, 23%, than in breeding range, 10%. A quarter of falconers, 22%, release all their wild sakers after hunting season. 1 in 6, 16%, release some of them. 1 in 12, 8%, do not release any of their wild sakers. More than half, 53%, does not take wild sakers. Falconers in Europe almost do not use wild sakers, 90%, so they do not release them. In Africa, 3/4, 74%, release sakers after season, almost equally all, 38%, or some of them, 35%. Another 1/6, 16%, keeps sakers after season. In Asia, 1/3 releases all sakers, 1/5, 20%, releases some of them, and 1 in 9, 11%, keeps sakers after season. A quarter of falconers, 27%, release all their other wild falcons after hunting season. 1/5, 20%, release some of them. 1 in 16, 6%, do not release any of their wild falcons. More than half, 53%, does not take wild birds. In the survey 10 years ago, answered those who take wild falcons. Only 1/3, 32%, released all their falcons, 1/5 does not release, and half released part of their birds.
You can contact me if you have any special questions through Umberto. Our friend Adrian Reuter from IIF is also present here, so you can also ask him. Thank you.